With the success of the Ptolemy class and her offspring variants, Starfleet Command would embark on yet another starship class based on that design, the Conestoga Falls Class. But what do we know about this very simple starship design? Well, today we'll find out. Hello and welcome to this very special episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon, a Star Trek web series that dives into the history of any given topic using beta canon sources and my own imagination to fill in the gaps. In today's episode, we're taking a look at the Conestoga Falls class of Starfleet starships as first seen in the FASA Starship Tactical Combat Simulator to better understand its place in Star Trek history. Please note, this video is a continuation of this channel's special holiday event, a Ptolemy Christmas, where all the starship classes featured in this series are, in one way or another, inspired by the wonderful Ptolemy class design created by the amazing Franz Joseph. Also, the TOS version of this particular class was kit-bashed into life by me for this video, while the Refit version was completely designed and constructed by me. As a result, they're not exactly perfect, but again, I think they get the job done. But, as always, because this is just a beta canon video, all information relayed should pretty much be taken with a grain of stardust and only considered a little bit of Star Trek fun. And so, with all that out of the way, let's begin. By the late 2260s, the success of the Ptolemy class and its offspring variants could not be denied. But Starfleet Command, being Starfleet Command, wanted to get even more out of that class's design, asking the very obvious question, what would happen if we made the pod itself a warp-capable starship design? And once the confused looks on the starship designers' faces diminished, that idea would spark those design teams into development action. And by late 2269, the Conestoga Falls class would be born. Sitting at a length of 214 meters, the Conestoga Falls class would be designed to be operated by 31 officers and crew members, with additional space for up to 10 passengers or additional cargo crew. With a simplicity in its design and advances in automation technology, Starfleet Command hoped that this underdog class would perform small to mid-sized cargo runs, freeing up the vessels of the Ptolemy class to conduct the much larger cargo missions. With a hastily modified warp core based on the Constitution class's design, the Conestoga Falls class would have a standard safe cruising speed of warp factor 4 and an emergency maximum speed of warp factor 6 for 18-hour increments, all old warp scale of course. Tactically, the Conestoga Falls class would be well armed for a freighter class, even though its operation was only ever intended to be within the core areas of the Federation. Nevertheless, this class would include both dual emitter phaser banks, as well as a single forward-facing torpedo launching system. Shielding for the Conestoga Falls class was standard for the time, though much less powerful than those of Starfleet's starships of the line. Every bit of free space available within the Conestoga Falls class was devoted to cargo storage. As a result, areas such as crew quarters, recreation facilities, and sickbay were reduced greatly in size, giving this class quite a cramped feel. Because the intent of this class was a local core operations only, Starfleet Command felt that such close quarters would be okay, as starships of this class would only travel between destinations for days at a time, usually being stationed at a starbase where crew members could stretch their legs if they wanted to. Of course, the reality of the situation was that the captains and crews of these vessels felt that the Conestoga Falls class was claustrophobic, overworked, and very underpowered. 6 vessels of the Conestoga Falls class had been launched and tested by mid-2270, and although not exactly a luxury liner by any standard, the class did perform well, and by 2272, 23 starships of the class were flying around from starbase to colony and back, with 21 more of the class at various stages of construction throughout the Federation. But that's when everything changed. The launch of the newly refit USS Enterprise in 2272 would see all Starfleet's current starship classes become obsolete practically overnight. Due to the M5 debacle, the Daystrom Institute, in a desperate bid not to be shut down, frantically worked with Starfleet's best and brightest to create entirely new technologies that would end up taking the Federation by storm. The affectionately named Vertical Warp Core was simply the cherry on top of this technological revolution, with practically every starship system receiving a massive upgrade that would put what came before them to shame. As a result, Starfleet Command immediately halted all starship construction projects while it sorted out exactly what to do with all this new technology and new proposed starship designs. A sense of wonder and panic swept Starfleet's Command Council. After all, redesigning and reconstructing an entirely new fleet of starships was not an easy endeavor, but by the early 2280s, Starfleet's new Starfleet was well on its way. And that's when Starfleet Command turned once again to the abandoned 21 hulks of the Conestoga Falls Class. Luckily for Starfleet Command, the floating hulks of the old-style Conestoga Falls Class starships were relatively unfinished with very little technology already installed within them. And thus, Starfleet Command once again approached its starship design teams to take the Conestoga Falls Class into this new refit era of starship design. And in late 2282, the Conestoga Falls Class refit would be born. Sitting at a length of 231 meters, the Conestoga Falls Class refit would be designed to be operated by 36 officers and crew members, with additional space for up to 12 passengers. A complete redesign internally, the Conestoga Falls Class refit would include a modified version of the newly developed Vertical Warp Core, giving her a standard safe cruising speed of Warp Factor 6 and an emergency maximum speed of Warp Factor 7 for 13-hour increments, again all old warp scale of course. Working in concert with the new, much more powerful warp core, the Conestoga Falls Class refit would receive the addition of an enclosed deflector dish to its forward section, while a new neck section would also be added to this class, increasing the available space within this design to a more acceptable level, making her feel a lot less cramped than her obsolete older sister. Tactically, the Conestoga Falls Class refit would be well armed for a class of this starship size, even containing a specially designed forward-facing torpedo launching system which could accommodate the newly developed version of that weaponry. Overall, the refit of this class was seen as a success. The increase of space aboard this starship design, coupled with the newly developed cargo bay facilities and warp core systems, made the Conestoga Falls Class refit a quick and dirty starship design easily constructed and often seen in the background within the vistas of starbases within the core of the Federation, making this design a huge success, even if a quiet one. By the turn of the century, with the Excelsior class taking the forefront of Starfleet, many of the older starship classes of the 23rd century began their decommissioning process, and the Conestoga Falls class refit would not be spared this fate. It was Starfleet Command's hope that the Conestoga Falls class would once again be redesigned and reborn, this time with Excelsior Age technology, with such a project being put temporarily on hold until the Klingon peace process had solidified and they could spare the resources. But this redesign would never happen. With the explosion of isolinear technology in the 2320s, and the launch of the Ambassador class and eventual designs of the Project Galaxy classes, the Conestoga Falls class would fall into obscurity. That is until the 2380s, when a major crisis would force Starfleet Command and the Federation to blow the dust off the idea of the class, creating a design which itself was as revolutionary as the original had been. Created to be a short-range, core-operated freighter design, the Conestoga Falls class and its Refit variant would make its own mark within the United Federation of Planets, earning both of these classes their well-respected place in Starfleet and Federation history. Thank you for watching today's episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon. What do you think of the Conestoga Falls class, its refit, and the historical narrative that I've created here? Would you like to see more videos like this one? Well, leave your comments in the section below, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, hitting that little bell icon so you won't miss a single video re-release, including several upcoming videos in this Ptolemy Christmas series. Want to help the channel turn out starship designs like no other for this holiday season? Then consider becoming a channel member subscriber or a channel patron, both a major help that allows this channel to purchase resources and 3D models to keep it going. The link to both memberships is in the description below. Thanks again for watching. Live long and prosper.